Welcome to the Pharmaceutical Industry Core Domains and Careers Bootcamp at SafeMeds Academy. This course is designed as a comprehensive gateway to the global life sciences industry, mapping out the critical sectors that drive therapeutic products from initial discovery to commercial markets. Over the next 10 lectures, we will dismantle the silos between departments and explore the interconnected disciplines of clinical research, clinical operations, data management, pharmacovigilance, regulatory affairs, medical writing, quality management, market access, and AI governance. Whether you are an aspiring professional looking to break into the industry or a practitioner seeking to understand adjacent departments, this course provides the fundamental technical and operational knowledge required to navigate global drug development. Let us begin by analyzing the comprehensive drug development lifecycle, exploring how a compound progresses through preclinical testing, clinical trials, and regulatory approvals before reaching patients. The preclinical phase of drug development marks the transition from basic laboratory research to formal investigational product evaluation. Before any new chemical entity or biological product is administered to humans, sponsors must conduct rigorous target validation and compound screening. Preclinical teams utilize in vitro laboratory assays and in vivo animal models to evaluate the pharmacological activity, pharmacokinetics, and toxicological profile of the compound. These studies aim to establish safety margins, identify potential target organ toxicities, and determine the initial pharmacokinetic parameters. Researchers must maintain meticulous laboratory records and conform to good laboratory practice standards to ensure the reproducibility and validity of the data. The cumulative findings from this phase are compiled into a preclinical safety dossier, which is required to support the filing of an investigational new drug application with health authorities. Translational research represents the critical bridge between bench-level preclinical discovery and clinical evaluation in human subjects. This phase focuses on using the preclinical data to design safe starting doses, choose relevant biomarkers, and identify the patient populations most likely to benefit from the therapy. A major operational milestone is the compilation and filing of the investigational new drug application in the United States or the clinical trial application in other jurisdictions. These dossiers present the preclinical safety data, chemistry and manufacturing details, and the proposed clinical protocol for health authority review. The FDA or other local health agencies review the application to ensure that clinical trial subjects will not be exposed to unreasonable risk. Once the IND is active, the sponsor can initiate clinical testing. The clinical development phase is the core of drug development, evaluating safety, tolerability, dosing, and therapeutic efficacy across human cohorts. This phase is structured into clinical trial phases, starting with small Phase 1 studies in healthy volunteers to characterize safety and pharmacokinetics. Next, Phase 2 studies explore proof of concept and optimal dosing ranges in patient populations with the target disease. Pivotal Phase 3 studies expand to larger, multi-center global cohorts to confirm therapeutic efficacy and safety against placebos or current standard of care comparators. Clinical operations and data management teams manage the logistics, data collection, and safety monitoring required to run these trials. The scientific data generated during these phases form the foundation of the marketing authorization application submitted to health authorities for commercial approval. The regulatory review phase is the ultimate gatekeeper in the drug development lifecycle, where health authorities evaluate submission dossiers to decide if a product can be approved. Sponsors compile all preclinical, clinical, and quality data into a new drug application or a biologics license application, structured in the Electronic Common Technical Document format. Regulatory agencies, such as the Food and Drug Administration and the European Medicines Agency, conduct thorough multidisciplinary reviews of the dossier. These reviews include auditing clinical data integrity, assessing manufacturing compliance, and evaluating safety databases. In the United States, the FDA may convene an advisory committee of independent experts to discuss efficacy and safety before making an approval decision. A successful review leads to marketing approval, allowing the sponsor to commercialize the drug. The post-marketing phase of drug development focuses on real-world safety surveillance, effectiveness monitoring, and long-term product maintenance. Once a drug is approved and available on the commercial market, it is used by a much larger and more diverse patient population than in clinical trials. Phase 4 clinical trials and post-marketing surveillance studies collect real-world evidence to monitor safety profiles and identify rare adverse drug reactions. Concurrently, pharmacovigilance teams track safety events, compile periodic safety reports, and update product labels as new safety signals emerge. Sponsors also manage lifecycle updates, including submitting supplemental applications for new indications, manufacturing changes, or pediatric formulations. This continuous oversight ensures that the drug's benefit-risk ratio remains favorable over its entire commercial lifespan. The global pharmaceutical industry operates as an interconnected ecosystem where departments must collaborate to ensure product quality, compliance, and patient safety. No single domain exists in isolation. The clinical research protocol dictates clinical operations site monitoring, which in turn drives clinical data management collection. Medical writers rely on data management outputs to write clinical study reports, while regulatory affairs coordinates the submissions of these documents to health authorities. Pharmacovigilance monitors patient safety during both active trials and post-marketing phases, feeding safety data back into clinical development and quality management. This interdisciplinary alignment is critical for maintaining regulatory compliance, optimizing development timelines, and ensuring that drug development processes withstand health authority inspections. Understanding these cross-functional linkages is essential for any professional working in the pharmaceutical industry. The integration of artificial intelligence is transforming the pharmaceutical lifecycle by automating repetitive tasks, optimizing trial designs, and accelerating data processing. In preclinical phases, AI algorithms analyze massive biological databases to predict drug-target interactions and screen compounds. In clinical phases, machine learning tools support patient recruitment, optimize monitoring workflows, and automate clinical data cleaning. AI also accelerates medical writing by drafting clinical study reports and safety narratives under human supervision. Regulatory affairs teams utilize AI to track global guidelines, manage submission dossiers, and cross-reference regulatory intelligence. However, implementing AI requires a robust governance framework to ensure data privacy, validation compliance, and human oversight. As we navigate this course, we will explore how AI acts as an accelerator across all 9 core pharmaceutical domains.